欢迎进入练习场 Join to Enjoy， 松开一切，整合自我，这里是你的练习场。好，那我们再回来，就是刚才老师讲到 Tuva， 就是这么多世界旅游，为什么老师对于 Tuva 好像你很常回去那个地方，然后那边有个特殊的唱的方法，我们中文叫呼麦，对不对？哦，对，那所以也想要请老师小小示范一下呼麦是什么，给我们的观众听。
So yeah, they call it throat singing because there's really a lot of pressure on the throat. And that's the big difference with what I just did. So one example is a technique that's also called Reme. And you can hear the vowels in there, I think. Sigit is another technique. But I have to say something at this point. All this overtone singing, this is not part of 声音瑜伽. It's not part of my voice yoga class. Because that will actually put a lot of questions to people's mind. And it will actually kind of be, of course, very difficult and very hard to learn these kind of things. So you start to think a lot of things like, oh, what's going on? What should I do with my tongue? Where to put my? How does he put this pressure on it? Da 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 da. Voice yoga class is much more intuitive, and I don't talk about overtones actually there. So in that sense, the emphasis is different. It's more on also the music traditions around the world. So that's something that people can kind of intuitively grasp. You know, you can sing something from some style around the world and people can just imitate it. But if I do like and you do it, it's like you have no clue, right? So yeah.
今天想要跟老师去询问啊，或是请他分享他的各种所学的某一个冰山一角。今天也是小小的请老师示范了一些他平常在探索声音的部分。老师第一次听到这种 Tuva 的 Hermit surprise you? How you feel?
This is so interesting. I don't recall when I first heard Tuvan or Mongolian throats. It wasn't like because I was already practicing myself and already kind of knowing what I was looking for. So at that time there were just some old records from Mongolia, something from Tuva, but mainly some things from Mongolia that I heard. I remember there's one very famous singer called Sun Dui, and he was recorded in the 1970s. And these Mongolians, they have a very powerful voice. So he would sing something like just you only had a record, you know. We didn't have YouTube or anything, so yeah, I was getting every bit of information together that I could find. But I don't remember this first time that it was like, what am I hearing? Also for a Western overtone singer, it's kind of strange, but I just really can't remember that.
OK 这样老师很有趣。我们一般人追星可能是听到一个唱片，然后去现场签唱会。老师是听到一个 Tuva 可能呼麦的唱片，然后追到这个蒙古之类，或者去追到西伯利亚去，是这样吗？我觉得很酷。对，所以
But I was very lucky because I was living in Amsterdam, and I got to know a guy who came to the Dutch radio, and the Dutch radio invited me because I wrote them a letter. They said, "Come to the radio, and you see how we make radio here." Oh, great, fantastic, so exciting. And I said, okay, I choose this program about Siberia. And there was a young man, or my age, something like that, who was living in Amsterdam, who had been in Siberia, and who had been at a throat singing festival in Tuva. And almost no one else went there, from around the world, just Tuvans and some Russians. And I got to know him, and that helped me a lot because he was going back to Tuva, and he brought a letter to Tuva, and he put me in touch with people, and he invited musicians to come to Holland too, and they came to perform. So that was the first time I could meet them, and there was a workshop with them. There was a really great opportunity. And there was another man also in Holland who also invited the Tuva Ensemble, which was the official state ensemble from Tuva. And they also went to America, and he put out the first albums of that group. So somehow Holland at that time was a kind of hub for Tuvans. So I was really very lucky. I was in the right time, in the right place.
哇，就是很神奇的缘分啊！在世界各地的声音探索之后啊，然后最近年老师定居在台湾。刚才老师前面有讲到什么排湾族啊，或者是布农族、鲁凯族等等的，老师是怎么样去看台湾的这些民族音乐，跟你在世界各地感受到的有什么不一样吗？这样。
The music in Taiwan that I got exposed to, got into contact with most is like Bunun music. Early on, also Katipu, Peinanzu in Taidong, and also Saisha. And after that, I mainly kept in touch. I kept on learning more about Bunun music and Saisha music. And in particular the Saisha, every 2 years I joined a ritual, the Pasta Ai, that started already 2004. That is something so special for me because there is a risk with a lot of traditional music that it becomes like a folklore, or it becomes very modernized in all kinds of ways, and the real tradition gets lost. And the Saisha people, they have really really managed to keep their ceremonial music, their ritual music alive. It's really for that purpose. It's, they have to allow people to come in to enjoy that, I think, but they would still do it if there was no one there. It's not a show, not at all. And it's going on for 3 nights, and I've joined it many times for 3 nights. And then there's some time when there's a lot of people come in, and it's very crowded and a bit crazy. But then later on, deeper into the night or early in the morning, most people have left. And the second day, the third day, there's almost sometimes nobody left there. And they just do that. And they sing for 3 nights in a row. And that is something I know, of course, it exists in many places around the world. You have some sort of ritual. But to sing from sundown to sunrise for 3 nights with such purpose and dedication, that is quite rare, I think, and there is a kind of simplicity to it in the sense that these songs, the dance is very simple, and anyone can kind of do that. You can just join a line, and it gets very messy when there's a lot of people doing it. But I understand, because it doesn't look too difficult. And then, these melodies, these songs, they're it's like a suite of 17 different songs. Actually, it's very complicated. Mathematically, even, it's kind of complicated how they repeat things and then come back and start again. But from the very first moment on, I just start to sing along with it. I open my mouth, I make these vowels with them. So I have kind of almost 20 years of experience of singing with them. And I haven't had any such experience in other places. I think you can have it. In Taiwan, for example, it is so different from the other kinds of music. They're all interesting, but it's the soul of that specific people. It's hard to say, what makes it really unique. And it's what I said in the beginning. If I would be ending up in whatever, in some country in Africa, you could study their music and join all those rituals. But Taiwan has its own, definitely its own unique styles. Yeah.
所以老师在这么多不同的音乐当中，真的每一个音乐对你来说都有某种颜色或形状吗？
Well, as a musicologist, musician, I'm very much focused on precisely knowing what kind of voice they use, what kind of rhythm, what kind of scales, or what kind of movements they make. I'm more kind of an analytical person in that sense, and I think for a lot of people, if you don't know music, you think about a feeling or a shape or a color. I don't have this kind of thing so much when I hear that kind of association, and my mind just immediately goes into like, what are they doing? How are they doing it? I want to figure out what they do and what is his voice like. So it kind of stays very close, I guess, to the scales and that kind of thing. But it's very boring if I talk to you about this.
就是老师是走另外一个用大脑在分析，就是哇他们怎么做到的这样，可能就不是走麻瓜的去感觉声音的颜色或是气氛这样。声音这个震动啊，或者这种东西，是不是很快的疗愈到我们的整体的身心？这个部分可以跟我们分享一下。
Well, if you make sound, of course, you are kind of vibrating your body. You're changing your breathing pattern very often, like in the case of the Sajjada, you're moving. You don't normally, move for hours and hours and hours, but people like running, for example, they go running to physically exhaust yourself. It's something that a lot of people know from sports, but also from music and similar kind of things. That in itself is already actually rejuvenating us. We get exhausted, but we need that. We like to get exhausted. We also like to have kind of puzzles and to solve things. So if you engage in this kind of music making, or like I'm an improviser also very often, you need to constantly decide things. It's uncertain. Where are you going? What are they doing now? How should I respond to that? Your brain keeps very busy responding to that. Or if you just want to sing a beautiful melody, you just take this thing, you start to play it, and you just want to go like, there is thinking going on, there's breathing going on, you're vibrating your body. And we all intuitively know, I think, that music that we love, that it makes us feel very good. And it can really help you also to in terms of healing or therapy, to solve problems. If you're really stuck with stuff, you feel so angry or so upset or frustrated or down, depressed. For many people, very often music can help, can alleviate your pain and your troubles. So why or how is that? I think even just from listening, I wouldn't know the exact answer. It's we still really don't understand a lot of things about that, but we do know more and more now that from music making, you're using a lot of different parts of the brain. So you kind of start. Music is a kind of super connector of the brain, and for speaking, we use this part or that part. For music, we need another part of the brain. For actively music making, we need more parts of the brain because you also need to move more different things or think different things. And for improvising, you even need more parts because you need to make a lot of decisions and problem solve. So there is a lot of research going on into this question, and it shows that music engages us in a lot of ways.
像我自己的感受就是，我在听一般流行音乐，我们如果觉得很烦躁，我们就放一个很轻音乐听，然后让自己稍微静下来。可是自己发出声音的时候，又是完全另外一件事情哦。所以我自己就在想象，上次去上老师的声音瑜伽课程的时候，他会需要自己发出声音，跟着老师一起共鸣，然后那个体验是完全跟平常自己听音乐是两回事。所以我就很好奇。所谓声音的震动是不是由自己发出来的，可能就会更快的冲击脑波，然后让自己脑袋可以做出变化。就是这个也是我很好奇，就是外面来的音乐跟里面自己产生的音的震动声音，是不是也会产生不同的功能？这样子。
Yeah, definitely. There is of course a difference between passive listening, which is already very nice for a lot of people, but by doing that you use your body. It is physical, like in the West. I'm not sure about here, but in the West a lot of people tend to think of music, it's very spiritual, it's something from heaven, it's something almost without any physical element. Well, now that is slowly changing, the thinking. And in the East, you're already much more connecting mind and body maybe than we used to do. But surely the body is doing a lot of things. And yeah, I think definitely your brain needs to do more things to make music than if it's passive.
而且还有分自己弹乐器，我觉得我有学吉他嘛，然后弹乐器的这种震动跟自己从喉咙发出来的震动，我都觉得等级差非常多。所以光从听别人制造出声音，然后到自己制造出声音，到自己的身体制造出声音，对我来说那个 level 是差距非常大。然后我是最近才发现，原来我自己制造声音的时候，我可以让我的身体完全做出不一样的反应跟体验，这样子。所以真的是很推荐大家可以体验看看一堂声音瑜伽课，因为本来我也是不知道那是什么，但是去了之后发现哇，自己创造出来的共振跟大家的共振会感觉是非常不一样的，然后你不需要透过任何的播放器啊什么乐器这样，对，所以这个是很有趣的。
I think a lot of people that come to my class or in general also they say like I cannot sing, or oh no, singing is not for me, or they have a lot of doubt about that. So they can talk, and they use their voice for talking. Maybe they sometimes sing alone in the shower or something like that, you know. But to sing with other people, to come to this class and to just open up yourself. There's also, you know, apart from the brain, maybe what's going on in the brain, just the feeling that you might be ashamed of yourself and you don't like your voice, and then just to do it, to join everyone together, making all these sounds and go a little bit crazy and let go of all these brainy things. In that sense, I really think it's very important to move away from the brain, and also this question of like, is this good for the brain? It's good for the body. It's you kind of actually go away from here, and it's why I often make movements too. You know, we often start to move, and that's why it's voice yoga. You know, it's we prepare the body, and we start to breathe and to feel the whole body. And then, then you feel like, okay, I'm alive. I know. I feel my knees, I feel my legs, I feel my toes, and then you go, and you start to become sensitive. You start to actually feel, oh yes, things vibrate. So that is not so much. Of course, the brain is involved, but it's my emphasis is much more always going down here and just feeling rather concrete things of these sounds, and overcoming any kind of shame you might feel, or hesitation, or uncertainty. You just do it, and don't limit yourself to, okay, I can talk to you, but I'm not going to sing to you. Then just sing with each other and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
我觉得老师好像完全讲中我的心声，就是我在去之前，我就想说要跟大家很多人一起，然后去展现出来自己某一部分的声音，其实很简单，它就只是发出声音而已。 然后一开始会有一些对未知的恐惧啊，或是怕自己会不会很害羞什么的，就完全不会。我跟各位说，就是我觉得太惊人了。就是我本来很担心，我现在做这件事情没有跟大家一样，会不会很怪什么的。然后，但是老师在课程当中的带领是，他一开始就会让你回到自己，就是你去感觉自己哪里松哪里紧，你去感觉自己的呼吸，感觉自己的声音等等的。然后我整堂课完全 I don't care anyone else， 就是我只 focus 在我自己身上，这个是我从来没有体验过的，就是而且那样子的感觉真的很爽。就是我真的不用管其他人在干嘛，而且我从头到尾都没有意识到我旁边的同学有谁，然后他们发出什么声音，他们做什么动作 ，I don't care 所以我觉得那个结束之后，我的脑袋很清爽，很轻。虽然身体有些瑜伽动作会比较累或什么，但是我会觉得实在是太爽了，我好久没有这种感觉哦，完全只要顾我自己就好的。所以我觉得那种体验是非常非常惊人的，就是因为我以前也没有做过其他的身体的课程，这样对。而且我还想要分享一个，就是跟我一起去的朋友啊，他应该各种瑜伽课从不间断，找了好多瑜伽老师，大概有20年的时间。通常我们的习惯上的瑜伽课，老师会教我们做动作，然后我们能够做到跟老师一样，会好棒棒这样子。然后但是马克老师完全不会有任何标准。就是他从课堂上就一直告诉我们说，哦，你就用你自己舒服的方式，你自己的 tempo 去做动作，或是发出跟大家一起共鸣的声音。然后我就觉得哇，就是我朋友也说，他从来没有上过这种瑜伽课，他觉得太酷了，会带着自己回到自己的身体，然后放掉脑袋的部分。可能我本来是90%都在每天在用脑生活的人，然后我在那一堂课里面短短的时间。我就才感觉到我的身体，然后哇，我的手既然大家震动的时候，一起共鸣之后会发麻这样子，每个人身体不一样啊，我就是会哇很麻这样子，然后很舒服，所以我觉得那个体验是非常神奇的，对啊。那今天就是很开心可以听到马克老师非常丰富的人生经历，各地世界采集音乐，然后声音的探索。然后我们也听到了 overtone， 然后跟所谓的呼麦，那这都是老师的个人技啊，就是没有要在声音瑜伽上这个课，但是我觉得我们等于是从马克老师身上可以听到很多种不同的音乐类型是从身体自己创造出来的。我觉得那个对于大家未来开发自己的可能性也会很有启发。这样也很谢谢老师今天分享很多他的关于声音探索的知识。那我们谢谢马克老师。
不客气 ，Thanks for having me。
耶，好，那我们下次再见喽，拜拜。